Forever in Bloom. The show, an exploration, investigation, and celebration of Jeff Goldblum. Damn. This is episode 28. Film is called Hideaway from 1995, and is, I guess, a film.
It is a film. Is it helpful that we're recording this episode on 420? Because this film's pretty whack.
I wish the listeners could have seen the eye flicker that accompanied that word whack. It was quite disturbing.
Because do you know what other time of year it is?
Hay fever season?
It's Taurus season, baby.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What?
It's Taurus season. I don't know what it means, but I've been told it this morning. Apparently. So it's not only is it 420, but it's also Taurus season, which means this film is great.
Seb, are you ready to record now? Like, are you sure you want to do this?
Okay, I've got it out of my system. So we are talking about Hideaway from 1995, which is sorry, I want to point out to you two. It probably looks like I'm reading from my notes. I'm staring at my waveform as I'm recording my voice.
Are you all right?
What's going on here, mate?
I haven't.
You've had one cup of coffee later than 3, and you're fucked.
You used to work in a coffee shop.
I know.
Get a grip, mate.
Here's what happened. I've not said any words out loud yet to anyone today.
Oh, that's
you two are the first people that I've actually spoken to
that's
today.
Rough when that happens. So Hideaway. I still don't know why it was called Hideaway.
Because at one point, there is literally one moment where this isn't going to make sense until we explain the plot. But hey, that's this show, isn't it? The murderer says, "I'm going to take you to my hideaway," when she asks where he's taking her.
Oh my god,
that's it.
See, I have a tendency to always pick up whenever they say the title in the film. I always notice if they say the title, what it's called as dialogue. I'm always like,
this dude Matthew McConaughey, all of his lines, man. They were dribbling out of his mouth at this point. They were fucking awful.
Yeah.
This movie with Jeff is starring as Hatch Harrison, with Christine Lahti as Lindsay Harrison, Alicia Silverstone as Regina Harrison, and Alfred Molina
Regina. You said Regina.
Regina. And Alfred Molina as Jonas Nyburn, a surgeon. And this will be fun. Seb, what was the film about?
Okay, pretty simple one this time, I think. So this is a film about how Jeff and his wife and his daughter are in a car crash, and they nearly die. And Jeff he's been dead for, I actually have no idea how long. I don't think they
2
say
hours,
that.
120
2 hours,
minutes.
okay. Which is apparently too long to bring someone back from the dead without complications.
Well, it's because he has this special resuscitative medicine. Alfred Molina does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he's only used with one other person ever.
Such a hand wave, isn't it? Well, I think he's used it with a lot of people, but there's only been one other person he's used that's been dead for that long.
Oh right,
yeah.
Okay.
And so Jeff is on the operating table, and they use this special medicine, and then we're treated to some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my entire life.
What are you talking about? It's revolutionary.
And at the beginning as well. It's in the intro scene, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is.
It's like it reminds me of PS2 games.
That's worse than PS2 games, man.
PS1
It's so ambitious for them in the year of the 1995 to be like, yeah, we could do full CGI scenes for this movie.
And it
fucking
is
insane.
completely full screen. It's like a screensaver with someone's face in the middle that they've photoshopped, and it's flying around.
Yeah, so I guess the way we first get introduced to the whack CGI is the opening scene. We get a bunch of creeping shots around this house, and we get the sound of a choir mixed with the headphone audio of some heavy metal, and it's one of the most unsettling things to listen to. None of it's in the right key, nothing's in time. They've just thrown them together, and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And we see that this kid, who we then find to be known as Vasago and then Jeremy, kills. We see two people that have been killed, and then he sacrifices himself to the Lord to the devil by falling onto a knife. And then we see the fucking whack CGI of like kaleidoscopes and this dude's like oval scoped face just placed onto a cloud and just flying through like a never space, which I assume is meant to be purgatory or hell.
It's the pipeline to hell.
Some kind of
It's how
interim.
souls get to
Some spiritual.
It's the infinite corridor.
Yeah.
And he looks gassed because he's about to go to hell, and apparently that's all he's ever wanted because he's a Satanist.
Yeah.
Funny thing, the pentagram you see on his wall is actually just a normal Pythagorean thing because they had it upside down.
Cool.
So it's completely non-satanic in any way.
Hey, Liam.
It's just maths.
Liam, this is a film podcast, not for fucking dorks to come and talk maths to us. Jesus.
And yeah, I think he starts getting sucked to hell, and then his dad does the old flipperoo and gets him to resuscitate, and I guess he gets sucked back. And some weird demon is in him, I think.
No, I think he's just murderous, isn't he?
Well, then
And
what
he's-
happens at the end? We'll get there.
The main problem I had with it was they blurred the lines between Satanism, which is essentially you're a cult, like a religion,
Yeah.
and then psychosis, which is a serious like mental health problem.
disease. Yeah.
And they blurred their lines to the point of it being a bit morally ambiguous, like because they didn't decide which way they were going with that. So you were just kind
whether
of
he was an actual demon or whether he was just a psychopath, you know.
yeah, they kind of made out like he chose to have psychosis, and that's what made him like demonic. Which is
Fuck, I hate the dude that played this like Timothy Chalamet looking motherfucker that played that guy.
Yeah, so-
Jeremy. He sucked so much shit. I
Jeremy
hated him.
Sisto and Alicia Silverstone also both starred in another 90s classic film together, Clueless.
Clueless, yeah.
But he's a lot more likable in that film.
Isn't his name Jeremy Sisto?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because he NYPD, Law and Order.
Yeah, I think the three main male actors in this, so Jeff, Alfred Molina, and Jeremy Chalamet, all went on to have recurring roles in Law and Order.
Yeah, because I was trying to work out, why do I know this man's face?
Yeah.
For
And,
ages.
The Lindsay, the mum, also became Fox Mulder's mum in X-Files,
Oh, okay.
which I'm rinsing.
Carry on. But yeah, the rest of the film, Jeff dies. He comes back with some weird spirit stuff inside of him. He's connected to Vasago, and he can see the murders he's going to do. Is it prediction or is it like real time?
I think
Bit
it's
of both.
real time.
It's,
They
yeah,
can, they
real
have this like
time.
psychic connection. They can see each other real time. Sometimes they can do it voluntarily if he hurts himself, but sometimes he just shuts his eyes and touches a car, and that's enough. There's like there's no consistency in how this connection works in any way, shape, or form.
The connection is they establish early on that the thing that connects them is whenever he feels pain.
But there's points that he just shuts his eyes and he's like, "Oh, yeah, he's here." Like,
I think maybe that what they were going for there was the fact that he also feels emotional pain. So he thinks about a sad memory, and then yeah. I mean, the funny thing about this story is it is far fetched. It is a real reach, and they've really like they've been quite ambitious with the ideology that they've tried to put into the script. But because it's so far out there, it's so unrelatable. Any rules they create to help with the plot, you kind of don't question them because you're like, well,
Yeah.
they're both somehow nearly died and now they're both communicating the devil's work. So if I'm going to buy that, then I'll just buy everything else they throw at me. Like, hell yeah, he feels pain and they see each other's eyes, you know?
I mean, this is based off a novel by Dean R Koontz.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was not expecting this to be based off a novel. I feel like films that are based off novels generally make a lot more sense because someone spent a lot of time writing a book first.
About that.
Yeah.
So Koontz is like known as to be sort of one of the other big horror writers like Stephen King and all this sort of thing. And Dean Koontz, after seeing the final cut of this, pleaded to have his name taken off the opening credits because he was so like disappointed in their adaptation. They didn't oblige. His name is on the opening credits. And it was actually Dennis Quaid's production company that made this movie. And after he saw the final cut, he went in and removed his own name from the credits at the end of the movie. So it was not received well in like any way, shape or form. It's not good. It's awful ADR. Awful ADR. There's the scene where like Jeff's wife is trying to keep him alive in the river, and like bless her, she's trying her fucking best, but for the entire time he is just face down in the water, and she doesn't once attempt to lift his face up. And it's like, even if you get to somewhere dry, he's fucked. Like no matter what happens in that car beforehand, you've drowned the man. Like you did nothing to try and save him.
Yeah, it is a very it's a very dramatic opening. It gives you quite a lot in the first sort of 20 minutes. I have to say, I like I would not recommend watching this film if you're going through a tough time, because it's just I feel like I can watch horror films and it'd be fine, but there was just something so wrong about this film. I don't know if you guys felt that as well. There was something that really, like, I don't know, it irked me a little bit. I think there was something to do with like the lack of pacing and the lack of like suspense they built. It just kind of threw it all at you.
I made a note at, I think 7 minutes in, that was like, this film's going to be edited really badly, and I was right. But
you were right.
Yeah.
The shot that made me realise was when there's that scene right at the beginning where Jeff's being all dadly, and they're playing this really cheesy, well, this really cringy scene, but it's like them playing this like film game. They're like naming characters and films and this sort of thing, and they're trying to get their teen daughter involved or whatever. It's like so uncomfortable to watch. And then it just cuts to like at the end of the scene, there's like a beat, and it cuts to just really close shots of these like almost round, sweaty, disgusting burgers on this grill. And the shot's like 2 seconds long, and then it cuts away to another scene. It's like, why did you show us that? You didn't show us that at any other point in the scene. You just wanted to show Jeff as a grill dad. He just turns around and plays with a fucking lump of meat for a second.
Yeah, they're just trying to very quickly establish that he's a fun-loving, light-hearted dad, and
it's Middle America,
Middle America, getting them burgers on that BBQ. Like, how else do you show that?
One note I do want to bring up of mine from the beginning of the film is when the young Jeremy throws himself on the knife.
Yeah.
The close-up shot of his face as he does it, I did write down, was that a death cum?
Is that a thing?
To be fair, I mean, maybe, but I mean, for him, I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest, because he really wanted to die, and it was all about that, to get closer to the devil, and it probably was a death cum. You're not wrong.
It was a really unpleasantly close shot of his face as well.
Yeah, he just wasn't good at all in anything he was in.
No, although, I mean, the fashion with the tiny glasses.
I was just about to say the club scene when like Regina sneaks out. To go to that club, and Jeremy finds her and introduces himself as Visago, is the most pre-Matrix Matrix shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's pretty
Everyone's
powerful.
just wearing black and tiny glasses, and everything's silver and hard lights and metal in the background. Like, it's the most.
The one of the big notes I've written 4 times is that all the background like metal in this film sounds like off-brand Korn.
Yeah.
It's 80s. It's 80s industrial metal though, isn't it? It's a bit naff.
Yeah.
I thought the soundtrack. I really like the soundtrack. I wouldn't listen to those bands like day to day, but I think to set the tone of a film, like, I think it worked really well. And
they use that really well in 7. There's a lot of really like gross music in all the clubs in 7 that works really well. And I don't really feel like it was that. Everything was just kind of thrown in a bit here. And I don't know, in that scene when he's like stroking her face and being really weird, and I guess because she's 15, she's naive to all of this stuff. I don't know what he's writing about, but she introduces herself and he says, "I know." Like, that you run at this point. That's not someone that you stay with when you say, "Oh, hi, this is my name." And they're like, "Oh, I know."
yeah.
Like, bye.
Yeah, and his only redeeming thing is supposedly this like devilish charm that he's supposed to be oozing with, but you don't really get it as a spectator.
No.
You don't.
100%. If they made this today, it would be either Timothy Chalamet or Freddie Highmore. Would be one of the two.
I hope Timothy Chalamet wouldn't do it. I hope he wouldn't do that role. Or maybe the role would be more relatable and more empathetic if someone like Timothy Chalamet did it.
Or just a dude that has done something other than fucking Billy Joel videos should probably direct this film.
Yeah, I think it is. It's very creepy, and he has no redeeming qualities at all. Like
None at all.
He's a straight out Satanist, and
Yeah.
he's not even cool. He's not even like a cool
No.
Satanist. He's just a bit lame. And then
You can tell they're really trying to make him cool, aren't
yeah, they try really hard, and they think, the smaller the glasses, the cooler it is for him to kill girls, and
they? And he's a steampunker and he's into welding.
it's the steampunk that just tips it over the edge from being Matrix cool to just absolutely lame. Yeah, and then the whole thing about him. So he markets himself to girls in clubs as an artist, and he says, "Do you want to come see my sculpture?" And the sculpture is a big stack of metal intertwined with the bodies of decaying
sticks.
women that he's obviously raped and murdered.
Yeah.
Like, who writes this stuff?
It is just a big mess of sticks and mesh, isn't it? Like, it's so bad. And about like how fucking on the nose this shit is as well. Like with that same girl that he meets in the club after Regina's friends save her, and he says, "Do you want to come and see my art?" That's the girl that he says, "By the way, I'm taking you to my hideaway." That's where we get the name.
Okay.
But she starts running away because she realizes that she was, in a cage, and is running down the hallway. And he just says, "You haven't seen my sculpture. It's a monument to hell." It's like such the laziest writing I've ever heard. Like there's no subtlety like whatsoever in that.
Yeah.
And everyone trusts him, and he has like the least trustworthy face and demeanor I've ever.
I know he
like,
looks too
come across.
slimy.
He had like the glitteriest lip gloss on in that club as well because of the lights and everything.
Do you know what? One person didn't trust him, and that's the old woman that worked at whatever shop Jeff owns or whatever.
Yeah, there's
Jeff owns a shop.
Random storyline thrown in about in the halfway through the third act that he owns an antique shop.
Yeah.
That randomly comes in. You probably missed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely missed that.
Yeah, he owns an antique shop, and there's an old woman that works there who puts him in contact with the psychic that he visits at one point.
Right.
Visago goes in and asks to see Jeff or his wife, and instead it's just the old woman there.
It's then
Yeah.
that we
She
realise
doesn't
that
trust him.
he's blind. But it's before we get the exposition about the surgeons
eyes.
talking about the contact lenses. So he came back from the dead with this resuscitation technology, but he
was also super light sensitive.
really sensitive to light, and that's why I guess he lives in this hideaway, and why he only goes out at night to clubs because he can't deal with.
And wears sunglasses and shit all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, what a fucking useless character point.
Yeah, I don't really know the benefit of that. But then he goes into the shop and he pretends to be a blind person
Yeah.
because that's the only way that he can get around is by wearing sunglasses. But then nothing really happens with the blindness. I thought it was gonna somehow,
No, I think that was just his way of like trying to like disarm the woman, Yeah. If anyone is struggling to kind of follow along with the plot as we recount it, that's probably not our fault. Because this is kind of all over the place.
I
this
just so
fucking
didn't
movie.
care about plot. I know I never care about plot anyway, but even
Yeah.
more with this film, I didn't care about plot. Just
Yeah.
But the thing that didn't make sense to me is like, you find out he's super sensitive to light, so then he just gets well into welding. Like the thing that is one of the brightest things you could ever see.
yeah, it just doesn't explain much about his like who he was or like what he wanted
And
to
why he
achieve.
hates Jeff. Like, why he hates Jeff's character and wants to like kill him and all these people around him.
That's another thing because Jeff is the closest person, the only other person in the world who's ever come close to what he perceives as Satan. So why not get that person on your side? Also, he doesn't know anything about Jeff. He doesn't know that he's like a middle-aged kind dad. He doesn't know anything about that.
He just saw a woman and was like, kill.
Yeah. Huge plot plot hole there, I think.
Well, like, and there's just so much shit that just, I was just so, people's responses and the things they did is like, you just wouldn't do that. Like, Alfred Molina, I guess, discovered, the only other person he's ever used this thing on was Jeremy, and he says he was always, even as a kid, he was psychotic, but he was still my son. And it's like, yeah, I could understand that to an extent, And then he goes on to tell him that what we saw at the start was actually Jeremy killing his own mum and sister and like doing this whole ritual with them. And then he's like, you would have done the same. And it's like, I don't think I would have done that. I don't think I would have brought back the guy that killed my wife and daughter. Like, the guy that was clearly a burden even before that happened.
Yeah. And he's a bit of a useless character, that surgeon, isn't he? He just goes from like meek and mild to even more pathetic. There's not really much about him.
He has the funniest death scene, though. He gets like stabbed by his son in what is like basically a replica of that Force Awakens scene where Kylo kills Harrison Ford. He stabs his dad, and then we don't see anything of him for like 15 minutes. And then when Jeff falls off this big tower in his hideaway, suddenly he just turns to the left and sees Alfred Molina there, and he just grabs his hand and he just goes, "Forgive me," and then just turns over and does.
Which, I mean, look, Alfred Molina's
a great actor.
He's great. I mean, who doesn't constantly think about him as Doc Ock?
We're going to see him again soon. Oi!
Do we?
Yeah, in the new Spider-Man. He's coming back, but forget about it.
Sorry, I thought you meant in a Jeff film.
No, sorry. Carry on. This isn't that podcast.
I just like Alfred Molina, and I was really disappointed that he had just an absolutely terrible role.
Yeah, a lot of the supporting roles are really good actors. Like Alicia Silverstone is a really good actor, but
she's great.
She was dealing with it.
I did write that I feel genuinely sorry for everyone that worked on this movie, apart from the director and Jeremy Chalamet. Both of them could fuck off, because like everyone was putting in a pretty good job. Like Jeff had some ridiculous lines sometimes, but there were some points in this where he was really chewing some scenery, like when he was kind of going off the edge a bit and getting really paranoid and stuff, like, and no one would believe him. There was some good stuff in there, and like you said, Alicia Silverstone's pretty good in this, and I can't remember her name. Christine Lahti as the wife is really good as well, so it's like they've got great people in it, but fuck everyone else, man.
Yeah, and I feel like the wife was so sensible and so smart. Realistically, she wouldn't have acted how she did. She would have been out of there with her daughter way sooner. And that was just poor character development on the writer's part that kept her there. And then she got a bit annoying. But if she'd actually been true to what the character would have done, she would have been out of there. The whole film probably wouldn't have happened. She would have been fine. They would have been off. Yeah,
I know. And, oh man, I think the last 20 minutes of this movie is an absolute masterclass in how to make a piece of shit. It's like how to make a shit film. But there were so many moments that I would sit with like my notepad next to me, just like relaxing, and then bolt upright to grab it and like, fuck, I need to make a note of this. And there was one first when Jeremy comes in and steals Regina. He just fully jumps off the roof with her around his neck. And is fine. Not even just drives off. There's not even an issue there. It's then followed by Lindsay and Jeff, like driving, and she's inside all the shots and I'm inside the car. She's driving like really panicked and is kind of getting a bit erratic, and he's trying to calm her down and keep her on the straight. And then it's like, we need to turn around, and it cuts to this wide shot of just the maddest stunt drift you've ever fucking seen in a 90s movie. She just whips this car around and then fires off, and it's like, that is 100% not that woman driving the car.
All the characters, especially for Sargo, they've all been given these like superhero powers. Like the fact that he can just appear anywhere. He's just like a mentally ill teenage boy, but
he's just a dude.
He manages to break into people's houses, like high security upper middle class houses, and then like knock out a fully grown woman and then pick her up and then jump off a wall with her. Like
a high roof, like a second story roof.
He doesn't even
just be cool.
He doesn't even get vitamin D from daylight. He only lives at night.
Yeah.
Like, where is he
Yeah,
getting
that
his
was what I
nutrients
thought.
from? Where does he get money to buy food? How does he eat? He's obviously eating out the trash. Yet he has the strength to lift a full-grown woman off the floor.
Yeah, he's got a rat's diet, but has the bones of a fucking god. Like, he also has the worst line in this movie, which makes no fucking sense, and it's just when he's about to try and kill Jeff with a blowtorch.
You're invisible. And I'm invincible.
Can
I don't know
offer
what
us-
that means.
Can I offer a different option for the worst line in the film?
Sure.
So, in this final climactic scene where you have the forces of hell and seemingly the forces of heaven,
That's like the fucking Digimon battle that goes on, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they both stare at each other, and these little... He has like a
Little-
red demon in his eye, and Jeff has a little like blue angel in his eye.
Well,
And suddenly
when
they
the-
all fly out of him and have this like sky battle.
when
It's like
the
Harry
first
Yeah.
when the red evil ones come out, did either of you two catch what they were saying?
No?
We are the suck.
We are the suck.
They say we are the suck.
No, they don't.
They
Did you have
100% do.
YouTube closed captions on? Because
No,
they're not good.
I did
They're
not.
not accurate.
That is, I heard it with my human ears and I replayed it 4 times to make sure. They're like, we are the suck. It's like,
Oh my god! Fuck, why did I
Um,
miss that?
which I have no context for at all. And it's mixed quite badly, so maybe they were just trying to get them to say something and it didn't matter what.
But it just comes out as we are the suck.
I think they're
Yeah.
saying we are Visago.
Oh yeah. That 100% makes sense.
And I've just realised that
Do you think that's what it is?
the blue and red...
Yeah, Seb.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
No, I was just yelling at Seb.
Seb just turned into a robot for a second.
Okay.
The blue is obviously supposed to be good deity forces.
Yeah.
I've just clicked now. So they're the two opposite sides.
Well, we then find it because there's supposed to be some angel because you see some incredible angel come out of him, and then you find out that the angel was just his dead daughter, like his other dead
Oh,
daughter.
no, right, yeah. I watched this film 2 days ago, but yeah, I'm remembering now.
Sure, yeah, I've just finished it. So.
Yeah. You have
Do
the
you remember?
advantage.
Do you remember the? Do you remember
being
the scene
lazy.
where Jeff's dying and his daughter runs away from him naked in the infinite corridor?
See, I thought she was naked, but then she's in the same thing at the end, and it's like a spandex basically, but it's not okay.
Yeah,
It looks weird.
Did she die like during
Nope,
ballet.
she died in normal
Her ballet
clothes,
class.
getting creamed by a car.
Oh yes she did, yeah. Yeah.
So that happened.
She does
I
go-
prefer We Are the Suck, but you know.
Yeah, bad film. Big end to the big fucking Digimon battle, and nothing really happens. And it's like, oh, happy families at the end. And oh, did either of you see the post-credits scene?
yes.
No, sorry.
It's really odd and just why
So
is it
bad.
there? Why is it there?
It's like a sitcom ending.
It's like a
man.
rom-com ending.
Yeah. So you see a body being rushed into the ER, and even though they don't show you the face initially, you can see, because we've seen Jeremy topless before, that it's his body, and he has like he's got holes in him because he got shot by a shotgun by Jeff.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can bring him back, and they start to do the resuscitation thing to him again and bring him back. He wakes up and grabs a what's it called, a scalpel?
Yeah.
I thought actually at this point he was just going to kill himself because he wanted to be dead the whole time. But then he like slits the throat of the surgeon that's working on him, and then Jeff like bolts upright holding his throat, and so does his wife, and he's like, oh no. And then he just goes, oh, it was actually a dream. It was actually a dream. And then they just laugh about it, and then he says the line, where is it? This is just like the movie Carrie. And then they start to play the film game at the end, and that's it.
Yeah, the awful film game that no one liked. They bring it back.
I'm really glad I didn't see that scene.
Yeah.
This is just like Carrie.
It was
Fuck
just a
off.
treat. This film is nothing like Carrie. Carrie's one of my all-time faves. This film is
Yeah, it's
nothing
absolutely
like Carrie.
nothing like it.
I wish it
So
was.
what we saying then? True Bloom? I gave it.
Before we get into that, I do just want to publicly call out Tim McGovern.
Who's that?
who was the person directly responsible for all of the CGI stuff.
Tim McGovern. I think we need to
And I
send
think
an email to this man.
We
Strongly
should find out
worded.
if he's still working in the industry. And
end that
send him an
career.
email. Yeah. But on the subject of True Bloom, he was wearing a turtleneck for a fair amount of this film, and that does feel quite Jeff to me.
So what do you give it?
6.
I gave it a 6. I was going to give it a 5 because neutral. He's just neutral American man. But I got some just good dad vibes from him at the beginning, just good dad energy, and I was like, I think Jeff would be a good dad, so 6 out of 10.
I'm going also with a 6, basically for the same reasons.
Wow.
I thought, although it was corny, I liked those early scenes where he was getting to be a bit lighthearted. I think it's because
It happened last time.
Yeah.
Remember when there was that one scene in that film where he was a dad for a bit, and that was all of us were like, yeah, we liked seeing Jeff as a dad.
liked
Let's
Jeff
watch
Dad.
more of that, yeah.
I hope he plays
Craft.
more dad roles.
Yeah, sure he will. Well, we've got Cats and Dogs coming up. Boy!
Yeah. Cats and
Can't
Dogs is a
wait
classic
for that film. Craft, I gave it 3 out of 10 because bad film.
Yeah, I was the same, actually. I was a solid 3.
Solid 2.
Wow.
That tracks. Let's steam through it. Enjoyability. What'd you give it?
4.5.
I gave it a 4.
Wow. See, I originally put 3 and then 3.5. So I get.
Beth,
let's go
did you say
3.5.
4.5?
4.5.
That's wild, man.
Although it
Can
was
you justify your 5 to me?
because although it was bad and they had lots of issues and it was too ambitious for the technology they clearly had access to, it just falls into just the right side of like genre film for me. Like
The 0.5 came from the last like 15 minutes when it was just batshit wild, and I was like, yeah, this is fucking nuts. Let's just chuck another 0.5 on this.
That's at. I mean, it's scored more than Lush Life, not surprisingly.
Oh yeah, that was really bad, wasn't it? Forgot
It
about
was really bad, and we are. It's the maths are computing right now as we speak.
that. I think I blame Toy Story for this film.
why?
What
Came
does
out
that mean?
Came out in 1994 and was the first full CGI movie. And I think that dude saw that and was like, "Oh, cool, we could do shit." now."
Wait, so Toy Story, which is an entirely digitally animated film, came out in a year before this film.
Yeah.
Yup.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I think that was the first domino that led to this movie, because the dude was like, "Well, fuck, if they can do that, I can clearly make this film." And hubris got the better of this man because he could not.
I want to know what they used to make this. It's just
Fuck,
so
I don't
low
know.
res, isn't it?
So bad. I mean, the budget was like 26 million.
I mean, I would like it if the animated scenes were used in a cool lo-fi indie music video. That would be appropriate, but not for a feature-length film that has clearly
with
has
like
some budget and a pretty
It has one of the
high-profile
biggest
cast.
one of the biggest female stars of the 90s, man.
Yeah. And someone and Jeff Goldblum, who the year before had featured in a Steven Spielberg film.
Yeah,
with
he was.
animated
Everyone was riding
dinosaurs.
high. Everyone was riding high on Jeff after this. That was the Ian
Yeah.
Malcolm times, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah, he fucking goofed it big time. So taglines, I guess,
Yeah. Oh, it's
Except
number
where is
18.
it?
But
18
number 18.
out of
like 30 something, 31,
18 out of 30.
1.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I guess. Just
Seems-
lower than half. I'm happy
30,
with that.
34, actually.
What?
That's how many films I have on this list, is 34 films.
I don't know if that math cracks, but I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna let you choose taglines or Bloom, Golden Bloom.
Taglines.
taglines.
Oh, okay.
Tag me. Tag me in.
Shut up. Number
Let's
number
tag in
one.
the taglines.
Number 1. Hatch Harrison was pronounced dead on arrival. After 2 hours, doctors brought him back, but he didn't come back alone. Number 2. 2 men connected by something neither of them understand. And number 3. One's a family man, the other is a stab man. Who will win? You decide.
Okay, so the third one is one of yours. And also, I really like the phrase "stab man."
I'd lost the will to live at this
Can
point.
you not be a family man and a stab man?
You can,
That's
but in
true.
this case, one's a family man and one's a stab man. You never see Jeff stab. He does shoot.
Yeah, he
does
randomly decides that they're going to get guns in the house. He's like, "You guys are taking classes. We're going to get guns. You're taking gun
To
classes."
be fair, like, it's not the least... It's not like the most outrageous response.
Very
to, like,
American response. isn't
very
it?
American response, yeah. But, I mean, he does know there's a serial killer coming for his family, so...
No, that's true.
It's yeah.
Is it the second one?
Two men connected by something neither of them understand?
I'm going with
Yeah.
second as well. I was going to go for that.
Yeah.
Man, you should know that you should just pick the worst one by now for this set of film.
You are joking.
The one that is the actual just synopsis again. That's Hatch Harrison was pronounced dead on arrival after 2 hours. Doctors brought him back, but he didn't come back alone.
So catchy.
And then it's literally the same length as the IMDb bio, which is Hatch gets a special medicine after dying in a car accident. His wife and daughter only get minor injuries. He gets strange nightmares, such as killing a teen girl. Is it just dreams? They are the same.
Maybe we should go and we should make new posters for new releases of films. Rewrite the taglines to just be the synopsis and just put it on the poster. Just to remind people, we can't ignore the past. We've got to remember the past. We've got to move on from it.
Oh, God, the top review on IMDb, which apparently was written in 1999, when I don't think the Internet Movie Database was even a thing. But it says, a banquet for Sisto fans. No, thank you.
I did read the Roger Ebert review of this film,
Wow.
and he had a good time with it.
Oh, fuck off, Rog.
But he said you cannot compare it to other films, but you must engage with it within its own context, and that's why he enjoyed it.
I really hate that kind of review where it's like, well, if you compare it to anything else that anyone's ever made, it's garbage. But I think if you sink to the level of the movie, then it's fine. Fuck off. It's a bad film. It had a 15 million budget, and it made 12
Ooh.
worldwide.
Ooh,
So a big whiff on that
Big
front.
whiff.
that is not good.
What are your golden blooms?
Turtleneck.
Turtleneck, fair enough.
There's a good turtleneck game in this film. Lots of good turtlenecks. Mine has to be though when him immersed in the graphics, when it's his face and he's flying around the spiritual.
And you just hear him just
interim.
go, oh.
It was quite entertaining. And I
great,
I
right.
wonder how they would have orchestrated that. Would they have, covered up his, isolated his face?
No, they would have literally just filmed him, just like a headshot, and they would have just literally just put a fucking oval over his face in the program and rotoed that out in every single frame, smoothed the edges and just blurred the edges out, and then just put it in like a particle cloud, and that was it. It's so fucking bad.
Yeah.
My golden bloom is in the moment where Jeff hears his wife and daughter screaming Hatch, which his name should be Hutch. I feel like they just spell it wrong, but that's fine. He's running down the hallway and his face is primo. He's got full on puckered wide lips. You can see so much of his teeth. And he has the angriest eyebrows I've seen on him since.
He's very
the beginning of
expressive
this.
in this film.
Yeah. He just had something about the face. I implore you all to just go and, you know what, watch this film. It fucking sucks, but it's funny.
I think if you're up for a little bit of shit and
Yeah, if you like shit films, this is it.
then go for it. I would say go for it.
It was an 18 just so they could put pointless, gratuitous flashes of horror in, which just weren't good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Give it to us, man. Is this the Bloomiverse?
Yeah. So do you remember oh my god, what was the film called where there was a serial killer that was telepathic?
Mr. Frost? Oh,
No.
wait, not a Jeff film.
Fathers and Sons with Jeff when his son wants to be a dolphin
Oh, yeah,
or something.
Oh God.
Yeah, when he
I-
went full John Wick at the end, didn't he?
That
Yeah,
film
well,
was
in my-
terrible.
Yeah.
So
That was
I
the one
think
where he was
there's-
being a dad, though. That's the one we liked him being a dad in.
So this is the thing. There's a big connecting thread because he's a dad in both.
Uh-huh.
Both involve a serial killer.
Uh-huh.
Both involve a telepathic connection between a character. Okay, in Fathers and Sons, it's between Jeff and his son, but in this, it's between Jeff and Jeremy.
He's still a telepath, Dad.
But he's still a teledad. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of time thing going on, and Alfred Molina and Jeff were switched, and Jeremy is actually Jeff's son from Fathers and Sons, but grown up a bit.
They do look very similar,
They look similar.
especially hair.
They have that. They have the telepathic connection. Jeff's son in Fathers and Son was also very easily indoctrinated with some, bullshit ideology. I think what I'm putting forward is that after the events of Fathers and Sons, they grow apart.
He ran away.
He ran away. He's adopted by Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
He kills Alfred Molina's wife and other daughter.
Yeah.
And that's it.
No, I'm actually really here for that. Good job.
That's my connection. I think that's foolproof. Beth, don't you come at me with that
No,
smirk.
it's tenuous, but it's good. It's as good as we're gonna get.
tenuous. Yeah, I mean, tenuous is the one-word review of this whole show, really, isn't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, but it also brings me joy. Like, I get to write down things like murder and dolphin telepathy, and I know what that means.
I can't remember at all what the dolphins were in that movie.
In not to rehash something from the past, but it's just this book. Do you remember the book in the film that says something about dolphins? And the kid was like,
Absolutely not.
the kid's like, when my mother died, I believe her soul became a dolphin. And then
The dolphins.
and then he's
kept-
like,
You literally sounded, Sam. That voice was like a woman being interviewed, waiting for her husband to come back from war.
I don't know if I could ever do that voice again.
Yeah, that was special.
It's because the dolphins kept dying at the start of the film.
Oh yeah,
then they
and then
came
the
back.
dude wrote the book. Fuck.
And-
Let's not rehash
yeah.
over that garbage.
Yeah, let's not
Fuck,
go
that was
there.
bad. That was really bad. I think that's it, right?
I have nothing
Yeah.
else to say on the matter.
I do. You're invisible, and I'm invincible.
I hate that. What are we watching next time?
I don't know, actually. Do filler. Vamp. Chat.
So how do you feel about Taurus season?
Oh, fuck's sake. The movie 9 Months. It's a rom-com.
Hell yeah.
When he finds out his longtime girlfriend is pregnant, a commitment phobe realizes he has to change his lifestyle for better or much, much worse. Oh no, it's got a young Hugh Grant in.
I don't
It
think
has
we've
a
had
young
rom-com
Hugh
yet.
Grant.
We haven't had a rom-com
We haven't.
yet, have we?
We've got Hugh Grant, Julianne Moore, Tom Arnold, Joan Cusack, Robin Williams, Jeff Goldblum.
Okay.
Cool.
Bring it on.
That's quite a cast.
Yeah.
More importantly, it has the voice of Mario, Charles Martinet.
Sorry.
Charles Martinet is a voice actor who voiced every single member of the Mario family in the original recordings. He's the one who goes woohoo. And
So are you telling me that Mario is called Mario and Luigi is called Luigi Mario? They're the Mario
Yeah.
brothers.
Yeah.
Wow.
How did you not know this? This is common knowledge.
I know, it's just like, you know how the suitcase and the wheel, like the carry case and the wheel existed for years apart, and then someone was like, oh, cool, suitcase, when you put them together. That's
Yeah.
what just happened with me.
But yeah, so he's in this film. Also, the picture of him on IMDb is just him surrounded by
Yeah.
Mario, Waluigi, Luigi, and Wario, and then also baby Mario and baby Luigi.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
This guy looks like he has posters of Wario all over his room.
Woohoo! That's the noise he makes.
Anyway,
Thank you, so nice, is what he
fuck
says.
off. The guy that discovered America made this movie.
I'm not in on these jokes because I don't have the IMDb page up.
Oh, it's
all
just
very
Chris Columbus.
excluded. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Wow.
He produced the first 2 Harry Potters. So
Yeah.
Wow.
he was an exec producer on the new Scoob.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
He's a big deal. Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Oh, classic film.
Mate, I used to be such a Percy Jackson kid. I used to read all those books.
Isn't it just Harry Potter, but not Harry Potter?
Don't you fucking dare.
It's a better Harry Potter, yes.
Yeah.
I remember watching it thinking, like, as a child, watching it thinking, this is shit Harry Potter.
The film was pretty garbo nonsense, to
Yeah.
be fair.
Never read the books, to be fair.
Wasn't as good as the books, actually.
My next reading venture is I'm gonna read the novel Hideaway. No, absolutely not.
Maybe it's
Absolutely
really
not.
good.
This guy's actually made some fucking... He's produced some good films.
Oh, yeah.
He's directed 22 of them. Let's have a look. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. He did direct Percy Jackson, and I Love You, Beth Cooper, and Mrs. Doubtfire,
Oh, there we go.
and Home Alone 2, and Home Alone 1, Seb.
He was also the executive producer on The Lighthouse.
Ooh, Seb.
Liam,
Gremlins
can
3.
you not say my name like that?
Gremlins 3, Bicentennial Man. Jingle All the Way was the second movie. I'm into this. Let's call. I'm ready for this next film.
Yeah.
He made Jingle All the Way.
Rent?
Seb, he made Jingle All the Way.
Yeah. Okay, on that note, I think we should jingle all of the way out of here.
Yeah, we should.
Great idea.
Someone else do the thing.
What do we
What do
we
we
say at this point in time?
You just
Oh,
I'm
fuck.
just
So
rambling
thanks
at
for
this
listening,
point.
everyone.
Yeah,
And,
thanks for listening. Cheers, Seb.
Follow us
Carry
on
on.
Instagram
He also
and
produced Night at the Museum.
Sam.
And 2.
This is not good listening. Just sitting here listing things that people have done.
Go look at Chris Columbus's IMDb.
Yeah, that's basically the service we're providing at the moment, which is reading off IMDb. For those who can't read, send in email foreverinblum@gmail.com, and if you want to see an IMDb page, we will read it out to you for a small charge. I think that's about it, guys. Right?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Someone finish it off.
Share it with
Tune
your
in
friends. Let us
next
know what you think.
week.
Catch us next time.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got an Instagram.
At Forever in Bloom.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Seb and I just started another podcast, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Let's do a shameless plug. Seb, do it.
We have a show called Can I Speak to Your Manager, where we deep dive on the Wild West of customer service, and it's pretty good. We talk about Liam's vaping experiences.
Tell them about the email.
You can send your customer service stories into toyourmanager@gmail.com. Liam, why are you off screen?
Cool.
I'm leaning.
That's it now. That's done. I'm going to stop
I'm
recording.
done. Bye. Thank you.